This is Hank Sullivan with Sullivan and Forbes. I'm standing here with Martha Stewart. We've just finished with her 1870s farmhouse restoration. And when she and I met, we were actually looking at doing a remodel at her other house, which is right up the street here. Isn't that right?
That's right.
And we were trying to imagine how to add on to that house. And when we got to the end of that, our discussions, you said, I can't decide whether to remodel that house or to tear this one down and start from scratch. Isn't that right?
That's right. When I said farmhouse, you lit up.
I know. And so we came down here to look at this farmhouse, and it was just it was a diamond in the rough as far as I could tell. But you grew up here, didn't you?
Since I was 12 years old.
You're 12 years old. Your parents moved here. And
from Gainesville.
And you lived in this house until you left home, I guess.
Till I got married.
And then after Gary went to the service and all that, y'all moved back here and then moved right next door to your parents.
Right. Daddy gave us land up there and we built a house.
So this was a real labor of love in order to be able to restore this to an incredible state of repair today. Isn't that right?
Hey, it's a dream come true.
That's great.
A dream come true.
That's great. And how was it working with Sullivan and Forbes?
The easiest thing I have ever done.
Truly.
Truly. You know, we had built onto our other house, and that was not a good experience. But everything was taken care of for me. I didn't have to do a thing but make a few decisions.
And so we handled all of the design work, all the permitting. So when we came up with a design, how long did it take to really kind of iron out how we were going to add on to the back and work all those details out?
Not long at all. I mean, there were just a few changes.
Just a few changes, and we added a breezeway and a garage and an office above that, and all that just flowed.
It just flowed. It was the easiest thing I've ever done.
And can you think of anything that you just didn't do that you wanted to have done? No?
No, it's perfect.
We just got it dead nuts.
Yes.
Well, that's great.
Yes.
We really enjoyed doing the project for you, and we thank you for inviting us into your home so that we can show the people.
Well, thank you. And if there's anybody seeing this and they don't hire you, they've made a big mistake.
Thank you. Your check's in the mail.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. Right now, Hank, I am in the new living room at the Stewart farmhouse. This room is one that we added on. It was previously a beauty parlor that was on the back porch of this house. This opening that I'm standing in here was the wall that divided the kitchen from a porch area, and then from the porch it went on out into the back porch that the Stewarts had converted. Actually, the Stewarts, Martha's mother and father, had converted into a beauty salon. And we took, and this is the one part of the house that we demoed completely, and came in and built this new living room structure. We salvaged many of the old pieces of wood, like on the mantel and beams that I don't know if they're in the frame or not, but the beams up here at the ridge line. We tried to bring in the character of the old house back into this room. Then, of course, opened up this wall so that the kitchen breakfast area would feed right into the living room. All right, now we're standing in the kitchen area, 180 degrees from where we were looking at. Hank is actually filming from the living room back into the kitchen. This was the original kitchen for the farmhouse. We've certainly given it a facelift, but it has the original ceiling. Some of these boards are actually hand-hewn boards from 1800s, and the fireplace, that certainly was original. This is a big double-sided fireplace that would have been, the original fixture of the center of the house in the 1870s. But the size and somewhat of the shape of the kitchen has remained very much like it was when we started. All new cabinets, new flooring, of course, new countertops. Just a total update. All right, we're now in the pantry. This room was actually the side porch of the farmhouse. It has the original beadboard ceiling. Guessing that this probably was built late 1800s, early 1900s. onto the original 1870s house. The old slab that I'm standing on, the ceiling of this room, they were the original components of the side entry porch of the farmhouse.
And that's stained concrete, isn't it?
It is stained concrete. This is something we're doing more and more of. And this just came out beautifully. I don't know if the camera is going to show it. Kind of has an eggshell, cracked eggshell look to it from, just the patina of years and years of, being exposed to the elements. And then off of this room, we do this a lot on homes where we come in through a side entry, kind of a guest entry. This one comes in off of a porch that we added that is a breezeway that goes on out to the garage and bonus room. So guests come in through this area, guests and friends. And then off of it, there's a food pantry to one side, shelving, quite a large room, probably about 6 by 10. And then directly across from this is another door. Looks identical, but it goes into the new laundry room. And in here we have nice natural light coming in, still the old beadboard ceiling, original ceiling. And in this room we have the 400 amp service that now powers up this house. So neat informal entry. All right, now we're in the master bedroom of the Stewart farmhouse. This room originally was a bedroom. It was one of 3 or 4 that the original house had. It's kind of a typical old farmhouse that probably, somewhere in the early 1900s, more than likely had 2 or 3 bedrooms down on this level, 1 bath that was off of a hall. And in the update, what we have accomplished is taking 2 bedrooms. We put in a master bath and closet. We'll go in and look at that here in a little bit, but you can see the tub, hint of the tub down there. In this other room that was original, we turned it into a true master suite. Gave it a little bit of a corridor where you come in. You have kind of a privacy area. This is another thing that we try to work in to all master suites whenever we can, where you don't just have a doorway off of a hall, but you have a corridor that gives you a little bit of privacy before you get to the door to the bedroom. And then this room does have one of the old fireplaces. I doubt if it dates back to the 1870s, but certainly early 1900s. And we set this one up where it's just using a bedroom rated gas vent free log set. Real nice bedroom though. Ceiling has the old original wood ceiling. We have the original wood floors that we finished very carefully, and that pretty well.
What's that material
on the floor? I'm going to say that it's more than likely a pine that was painted many colors over the years. And we took it down to, we didn't want to sand this aggressively. If we sanded it aggressively, we could have made the floor too thin. So we took it down just enough to the point where we left some of the original paint on the floor. And looked at it, put a little bit of finish on it, brought the homeowner in. Martha Stewart came in and looked at it and was really happy with the look, as we were. And that's the point that we stopped at. And then put our 2 coats of polyurethane on, and it's turned out to be just an unbelievable look. All right, I'm walking out of the master bedroom at the Stewart house. Master bedroom's here, master bath is there, and this is a full front porch, or a full side porch, that we added to the house. The old original front porch is still intact. We'll be looking at that in a minute. But what we wanted to do was build a porch that architecturally worked with the original porch that was on the house. So now, a couple of things going on here. One is the client definitely wanted vinyl siding. That was a big deal to the Stewarts. So we put in a vinyl beadboard ceiling. We have the old treated floors, and I say old treated floors. They look like something that may have been put in the 18 or 1900s by the way we put it in, but they are a treated kiln-dried decking board, tongue and groove decking board, to get this look that is consistent with what we're going to see on the front porch. The other thing that we did is we sized the columns down slightly because it is a side porch, but then we put in a rail system that matches the new rail that we put in out front. So really has the look of a wraparound porch, but still tried to keep the front porch the predominant entry to the house.
Why was it important to have a porch on this side?
Good question. Hank was wondering why we had a porch on this side. The homeowner, Gary Stewart, he really wanted to be able to sit out on this side and look over their property that they have, cattle down there, barn and whatnot. The front porch kind of looks across to the nearest neighbors. This is the porch that really has a long view and nice privacy. All right, we're out here on the front porch of the Stewart house now. This is the location of the original front door, but we changed it out. When we started, it had a little more of a contemporary flush panel front door, did not have the side lights. Of course, again, out here, we redid all the siding, new ceiling, new flooring, but this is the original front porch, original steps, original bases of the columns. Matter of fact, original columns. We did refinish them. Put in a new rail. The original rail was just a pipe rail that kind of had a 30s look to it, I guess. But this certainly has a wraparound front porch feel to it, and just a fantastic entry to this old house.